Worst case, I can stream if you want.
I'll record. I'll put it up at some other point. Okay. So
We'll
then.
just call it the lost episode.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. It's equivalent to that episode that they didn't that they refused to show for decades in the UK because
Which one?
it mentioned in past. It's basically the one where Dr. Crusher gets taken hostage, but the reason it was not shown for years in the UK was because it mentioned in the passing comments that at some point in future history, Northern and Republic
Oh yeah,
of
the
Ireland
unification of Ireland. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course,
Plus,
Britain
there was the
being
speech given by Picard when Data asked about why they don't think terrorism works when it obviously does.
Yeah.
As a force for change, terrorism has successfully done so throughout human centuries. So yeah, that was. I didn't realize that was in there because, like Gareth mentioned, we didn't actually have that for a while, that episode, and then when they did show it, it was cut, including that speech. So when I went over watching Next Generation again recently on Netflix, that was like, oh right, okay then. Anyway, at least the tangent was Star Trek.
That was done with the Northern Ireland crisis, wasn't it?
Mm.
The IRA was very prominent when that episode of Star Trek came out.
Yep.
Sadly. But here we are. And here we shall stay for the next 3 hours. So yes, if we recall, the USS Navis had answered a distress call from a ship that turns out is 200 years out of time. USS Atlantis, obviously caught in a wormhole that your own ship has now been caught in the gravitational pull of. But in getting a bit closer to the mouth of the wormhole, it's enabled you to actually beam aboard the ship in order to try and see if you can get the survivors off the ship. But upon beaming over, you've discovered that sadly the crew of the USS Atlantis appear to have gone a bit balmy, to put it mildly.
Bit.
The crew have all sectioned themselves off into factions. There's the command faction, there's the engineering faction, and then there's the science medical faction. All to do with the fact that apparently there is an alien on board who can look like anybody. Wonder where I've heard that before. So, after witnessing the chief engineer of the Atlantis get abducted by members of the command faction, you were able to get a meeting with the only senior officer left on the engineering faction, which is Ensign Lou Mendola, and you're currently in the command center of the Atlantis. So let's quickly change the ambience.
Would I have ever come across Lord of the Flies?
Natala? Natala's interests are anthropology, biology, sensor operations, and fencing, as well as EVA, or suit operation. Would you have come across Lord of the Flies? No, but as far as anthropology goes...
Human, it's not going to do this. You know, do I assume that this is part of basic human psychology? Do I expect this of humans?
It's not unknown. I mean, it makes a certain amount of anthropological sense. There is an unknown threat lurking about the place. Obviously, certain tribal leaders or have differing opinions as to what the threat actually is, and therefore people are inclined to follow leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So, what that means, ultimately, is that you basically have a load of stressed people who are acting very much as if they have been on, running on adrenaline for the past however long. with no
This
break.
really doesn't sit well. This really doesn't sit well with Andrews because obviously having Starfleet protocols is one of my kind of traits. Like,
Yeah.
you guys have just fallen apart in 2 weeks.
2
you're basically
days, according for
2
them.
days. Sorry, yes, yeah, for them, isn't it? Yeah, 2 days.
Remember correctly, this is pre-Starfleet, so we can't
Yeah.
expect
The
Starfleet
nascent
standards.
version of Starfleet, yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
United Earth Alliance, isn't it? UEA.
Yep.
Yeah, it's back when the chief of their flagship, such as it was that crazy foil hat wearing archer guy who believed that Vulcans were behind everything.
Yes, indeed.
Bravo just thinks they needed more Bravos. That's clearly what they're lacking.
See, every starship should need more Bravos, apparently. and
You
solve
will
it.
become one with the Bravo.
They clearly are the unification between every department because there's a Bravo in every department. So.
Apart from medical, we don't talk about medical Bravo. He disappeared one day, and the doctor never explained why.
With good enough speech, Andrews could probably take over this ship.
Follow me, and I shall lead you to glory.
Right, hang on. What is it? Is it reason and command? Is it for? Yeah. 1 success.
Okie dokie. So, yeah. So, how much do you guys want me to remind you about the series of events that happened on the Atlantis as far as the crew are concerned? Do you want me to go over that again?
I'm okay.
Tom?
Well, I think we pretty much know what happened there, don't we?
Okay.
The crazy guy who tried to shoot us.
Yeah. Well,
The commander of the engineering deck has been shutting off power to decks if you think anyone on there is potentially an alien.
and because
She's now encountered.
no one from that time period had ever actually visually seen a Romulan, they had no idea what they were for. They knew they could be less humanoid than species 8472 or
And
something.
to clarify, it's for the XO that was executing people that you thought were a problem, and it's the head of engineering that was shutting down entire rooms at a time, just airing them.
Yes, so what you learned was that the first officer, Commander Mallory, had ordered that everybody on the crew go around in pairs, and that if anybody was caught alone for even a minute, it was punishable by being spaced out of an airlock. And the chief engineer, yes, was guilty, as John said, of shutting off the life support to entire sections, just in case the alien was in there. If she even suspected the alien was in an area, she would shut off the life support to it. There is the science and medical faction, but what they believe, you haven't found out yet. So
They've just been trying to maintain relations with both sides and keep everyone fed and alive,
yes,
so far as we know.
so the engineering faction have control over life support, and the science and medical faction have access to the hydroponics bay, and of course the science and medical facilities. So the science and medical faction so far are staying in the middle because everyone needs to come to them for food and water. But now the chief engineer has been captured, so...
Right, okay. If the science and medical facilities are acting as the neutral party, they're going to be our best bet to try and get someone to be cognitive enough to see reason.
So, what do you want to do in regards to where you are currently, then?
Subtly, can we find out if they know how bad the condition the ship's in? So obviously we know there's only a couple of hours until it's potentially going to buckle under the stresses it's under.
Yeah, sure. Anybody who wants to lace a loaded question can probably give me a presence plus command, and anybody who wants to assist can do a similar one. Up to 2 people can assist.
I'd already sort of started asking this question quite directly, but I think I hadn't pushed, so I think I can at least assist on this one, because I'd asked for a list from him of what he considered to be the current problems. And so I can kind of just sort of gently press for and just keep getting minor problems out of him and see if we can build from there.
Okay.
That would probably be a fairly direct way of doing it.
I'm going to put this at difficulty 2 because of the rampant paranoia. So this is me rolling for Natala's assist. Okay, that's 1 success. Cool. And reason plus command. I asked for...
You say it was presence and command.
Presence plus command for the one who wants to be the lead.
I've got decent command but rubbish presence, so if anyone's got slightly better of the 2, you take the lead.
Let's see.
40.
Presence 8 versus Bertram's presence 8 versus Bravo's presence 8 and Andrew's presence 8. So there you are.
I think Bravo would just monitor the thoughts just in case there's a flicker in them.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
If Bravo wants to, in that case, give me insight plus command as an assist rather than a full roll, it'll contribute towards how much information you get. So already that's 2. So you've already hit what you needed. So whatever Andrew's 3. All right, cool. So that gives you 3. Ooh, there is too much momentum. No, there isn't. Well, now there is. It's slow to update. So you've now got 2 momentum over. So the question was, do they know what the status of the ship is? The answer is invariably a yes. And as a result of having those 2 extra bits of momentum, let me think. Being the engineering faction, they definitely know what's going on. They repeat what you've already noticed yourselves, that the ship had already taken a battering before it was drawn into the wormhole, thanks to its days-long confrontation with the Romulans. They have activated the polarization of their hull plating, and of course sections have been sealed off, so that's kind of increased their structural integrity, but only to a certain extent. So they are aware that structural integrity for them is failing. Whether or not any of them know how long it's got, Mendola seems to be the one with the most knowledge and or appreciation of what kind of sorry state the ship's currently in.
Are they aware yet of the mine?
What was that? Sorry, John?
Are they aware of the mine?
If you mention this, do you mention this overtly, or do you want to keep that more of a covert?
I'll probably keep the covert for now.
Okay. Since you had 2 successes over and above what you needed, no, they do not appear to be aware of the mine, which suggests that they don't have their external sensors are either not operational or not operating at their peak. I will allow you guys to gather that Mendola himself is working on the main command panel, and he appears to be making modifications to it. The nature of the modifications appear to be somewhat complicated.
Just as an aside, Davis and Alex both want to watch tonight. So, but obviously I can't set up my stream playing up as well. So do you want me to do it? Are you okay to invite them to the channel to mute? Or not?
The Discord channel, you mean?
Yeah.
Sure, they can come in. If Jan doesn't mind having a guys listen in.
Not at all.
Excellent. Because these are guys who were trying to watch the Twitch stream, but because the Twitch stream is failing, they can't. So that's a shame that we haven't got our regular seed of viewers, but there we go.
So,
Yep.
I remember asking Ensign Mendola about modifications to the transporter, and he said he didn't know anything about them.
Yes, indeed.
And those were fairly advanced modifications.
Yep.
And now he seems to be making a set of advanced modifications to the control panel.
Can we make some reasoning maybe to try and follow what they're doing?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Bravo and Natala would be the best ones, but obviously Lichard, I forget how to pronounce that. Also being in engineering would be able to. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be an... Let's think. Probably a reason plus science or reason plus engineering. Probably reason plus engineering actually would make more sense. So out of Bravo, Natala, and Likud, pardon me, I'm getting I'm getting the vowels mixed up. If indeed they are vowels. So whoever wants to nominate themselves as the lead, the other two can assist.
Yeah, I'm happy to lead this.
Okay, so...
I will assist.
Yep, and... Shaun, you can get an assist off as well. So that's 2 successes, so you've already got what you needed, so... Whatever Natala generates now is gravy. So what did I say it was?
Complication.
Complications.
Oh, the complications all the time.
Engineering.
That last week.
What do I need?
Engineering.
I am going to allow Natala's quantum mechanics to come into play here. 1 success. Okay, so you got 1 over what you needed. Yes, it appears, according to your 3 learned opinions, that Mendola appears to be routing command systems into the command center, which I know sounds odd, but on an NX class, the command center was mostly a monitoring ops center kind of thing.
A combination situation and briefing room, rather than somewhere you'd expect to operate from.
But it looks like
That is consistent with what we knew, that they said that the bridge was depressurized, or
yeah.
Actually, we could find out, does he know who actually activated the transporter pad on this side?
Jan quite correctly reminded us that he brought up that very question at the end of last week, and the answer Mendola gave was, I don't know nothing. I don't know anything about that. So.
I thought that was the other guy's. Apologies.
So, yeah, it appears that Mendola is trying to reroute command functions into the command center. So, what would you like to do?
I still think our...
Do the modifications he's making bear any resemblance to the modifications that were made to transport? Is there any similarity in methodology?
Spend a momentum for that if you want. the truthful answer to that. As in, not the truthful answer, but the that was the wrong word. Because if you don't spend a momentum, I might lie. No, that I will take that as a obtain information spend on momentum if you want to spend it.
I believe I'm one of the people with a get two things on that. I believe. Have a look.
What do the rest of you think?
I think it's worth it.
I think it's worth it, yeah.
Shaun, Gareth?
Yeah, same here.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the impression I don't really mind if he's taking control of the ship, because at least he seems reasonable.
Okay, in that case, spend the momentum to obtain information. Yes, it does bear more than just a passing resemblance to the modifications made to the transporter.
Right.
What thickens?
Yeah.
So, I take it these are all, like, quiet questions.
Yeah.
As in,
We're not directly
you're not
Yeah.
directly stating that you've come across these
I'll leave you
answers.
share this stuff over.
Yeah. The information that I'd probably like to glean is where are the science and medical team located?
Okay, what you get, I'll give you this one for free. The command faction occupy B and C deck, which is mostly around the, that's the computer core, and I think also the astronomical labs. The conference room. Yeah, the astronomical labs. Yeah, and the engineering faction, of course, hold the command center and engineering, whereas the science and medical currently hold, like I said, the I've actually forgotten the word for it. Where the plants are grown.
Hydroponics.
Thank you. The word just went right out of my brain. As well as the science labs and sickbay. Which is a good point.
I still think that they're going to be our best lead to try and work to come to some sort of sensible solution to end this hostility and ensure that as many people as possible survive before they start killing each other willy-nilly.
All right then. How do you propose to get there?
Could shoot first, ask questions later.
You can totally storm your way out of here, but
Hey, this dude next to me is not going to expect to be punched in the face.
At the moment, most of us are armed, but Andrew's weapon is on the desk in front of Mendoza. Is that right?
yeah.
My rifle's on the desk.
The rifle.
They have
Yeah.
open. Sorry, I was going to say, do they have open channels of communication?
They appear to have short-range communication between each other. It wouldn't go outside the realms of logic to reckon that they're probably doing that for power-saving purposes. So, the use of the ship's intercom is... they seem to be favouring the handheld devices, which only have a short range, of course. But then they're all broken up into factions, and so one imagines each faction doesn't want to actually talk to the other.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The factions, not
Right.
this faction.
So we could reasonably, if we were in our own room, to start scanning through frequencies and listening in to find out what frequency each group's using.
But then you'd have to get some privacy, so how do you want to go about that?
I think we just work on the initial is that we would like to try and work to end the hostilities and try and help them as many as possible. To say that we want to act, we're a neutral party. We're here to rescue as many people as possible. Let us do some investigation.
Okay. You scored pretty highly with your presence tasks. And as you have noted, many of you have noted, Mendela appears to be quite reasonable. The rest of the engineering crew are looking a bit wary of you, but they're also... What's the best way of describing it? They're worn down emotionally and mentally. So they're obviously letting Mendola, pardon me, they're letting Mendola take charge. So you reckon if you can, it wouldn't go without. It would be a correct assumption to assume that if you can get Mendola to say that you can leave, you should be able to leave. So, yeah, if you request it, which I assume you do, he seems more than up for you trying to see if you can indeed unite the factions again, because he just wants to get everybody out of this. So,
are there any requests he might have for the other factions which we could carry to?
Let me think. He doesn't have any requests as per se. Just try and stop the first officer from executing Chief Phillips if you can, because that'll probably be what sets off this powder keg.
If we can get the person of the medical and scientific group, that will greatly improve our chances of negotiating with the command group.
Perhaps. So, Mendola can give you directions to find the science and medical lot with no problem whatsoever. You are currently on D deck, so you would need to go, let me think, up to C deck to get to the science labs. And sickbay should be on the same level. So it will be corridors and climbing up ladders job. So let's get you to the science labs.
On the way there to the science labs, it would be worthwhile we have a conversation now that we're not in people's understanding to understand, not in earshot, sorry, to get a understanding of what the rest of the group believe is going on with trying to swap out. Okay, so take over the command function. Okay, understandable. Is that means that they gain control of the ship, etc. But
why were the modifications so similar?
Yes.
Presumably that means that Mendola is the one that made the changes to the transporter, then why deny it? In which case, do we have a full understanding of what the modifications of the transporter were for? Could it be to make an attack or something across the ship, rather than anything to do with getting on and off of it?
I suppose if you control the transporters, though, you can also then transport all of your people where you need them at the time. So if he's shut them down, he could potentially be lying as a case of it's his backup plan.
He shut them down. No, I was under the impression that we were only able to go there because they'd been boosted. That's how we managed to lock on and get there.
Yeah, that's how we got here, but they've now... It was a one-way trip at the moment. We blew the panel out, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, your transporting over did seem to overload their transporter.
So basically, did we get a good understanding of what the modifications were for, other than that it was quite advanced for the time?
Not really. Modifications seem to be just bringing the transporter online. Anything
It was
else?
brought online in a situation where it probably shouldn't have been able to come. So
Potentially.
using less power, using a very sort of damaged system in a way that possibly they shouldn't have the ability to
Potentially.
from this time period. So either Mendola is a genius or Mendola is not from this scientific culture, whether he's alien or from another time or any other. There are other possibilities than he's just that smart.
Could it have had something to do with sending the shuttle through?
The shuttle pod that they sent, if you remember, was after the... oh, hang on. Which shuttle pod are we talking about?
The one that Kearney went through.
Yeah. Lieutenant Kearney and his shuttle troop were sent down to the planet below to try and retrieve any parts that might be useful from the wreckage of the Romulan ship that they shot down.
And to our knowledge, that was still the captain in command that would have ordered for that.
Yes. Anything else?
Do we still have communications with Gurney?
With Kearney, yes, you do.
Yeah, we were sending an encrypted communication, weren't we, to say that
Yes.
ensure that the shields are up on the Navis.
Yes, because of the excellent work that Natala had done setting up the deflector shield, you were able to use it to create a stable transporter.
Seems Nova's not broke it yet.
Well, yeah, now that Mum's not around...
It's new technology, I need to know how this works.
I'll just take this isolinear chip out and this isolinear chip out and boom.
Captain! Tinkering problem! Oop, we lost somebody and somebody came back. Okay. So yeah, you are able to have a conversation as you go, and you can
Actually,
include
that'd be an
Kearney if
interesting
you want.
Yeah, while we're having if Kearney's involved, basically subtly asking for site profiles on each of the individuals. So Mendola, the engineering command, the command officer, etc.
Okay.
Knowing how Phillips is going to be reacting under suspicion and in custody could be quite key as well.
Okay, Jan's having problems. But to answer that question, yeah, Kearney says that Mallory always was a bit of a hard ass, as he calls her. It was no secret that she really wanted the captain's chair.
Oh God.
Whether she was averse to killing the captain for it, Kearney's like, that sounds a bit extreme even for Mallory. And as for Chief Engineer Phillips, well, he knew her as a good, solid engineer that tended to get her crew working by shouting at them a lot and throwing a weight around. But this whole situation has him completely baffled. It's like you serve with people, and in stressful situations you do see like what lies underneath come out. But even this situation for Kearney is shocking.
Do you know much about Mendola?
Mendola, yeah, as far as Kearney's concerned, Ensign Mendola was just another one of Phillips's engineering crew.
He normally put like a well-liked and well-respected among the crew, because they certainly seem to be rallying around him at the moment.
Kearney just remembers Mendola being a bright kid, probably had a good future ahead of him, like a lot of the people that he served with on the Atlantis. So, what would you like to do now?
Okay. I do think we should push to see if we can get an clear understanding from the science boffins should maybe know slightly more than be more level-headed.
Okay. Now, as you come into the science labs area, you do notice that there are no guards around, no security guards. So, the science and medical lot don't seem to have members of the security personnel actively being used as guards. This does track with what you've been told so far, because most of the security staff sided with Chief Engineer Phillips, and the rest of the security crew then sided with Commander Mallory.
Isn't it a little strange that they don't have anyone looking out there? In that there's supposedly an alien going around stealing people and...
Yes, but at the same time it makes a certain amount of logical sense if you think about it, because if you've got two... If the command crew posted their own security guards here, then the engineering crew would want to post their own security guards here, just to make sure. And then you'd have two opposing factions, both armed, within close proximity to each other. So,
having their own lookout, even. Like somebody from their own faction.
well, quite. This is a highly unusual situation.
This whole ship is a highly unusual situation.
So
we have to consider that it's an engineered situation.
Unless they've developed some kind of sensor that's able to pick stuff up, like somebody travelling alone. So they may have already detected our presence.
it's possible.
We have that technology, so it might be an idea for us to have at least one of the tricorders set up, so that we know who's around and who's nearby.
Yep, you can certainly do that. If you want to do a quick tricorder scan. Anyone can do it. It's going to be basically a control plus science or control plus medicine check, depending on which tricorder you're using.
I'm not using the tricorder because
You
I'll give it
boffins
a
can
go.
do it. I ain't touching that stuff.
yeah,
Okay, I'll give a scan with my medical tricorder.
it's life, Jim, but not as we know it.
2 successes.
2 successes, awesome. So you get a very accurate picture in this area. That there are personnel around.
Yep.
There are a pair of life signals in a large laboratory on past the left-hand wall that you're currently near. There's no obvious way in, so you must have passed the door to get there. The door to your immediate northeast appears to have one humanoid life sign in there. There are a pair of doors to your north. The easternmost one also has one life form. The westernmost one has 3 and appears to be a large room.
Okay, I'll relay all this information to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hello?
Yep.
Do
Done.
we go for the individual or do we go for the group?
individuals are highly suspect, and if anyone found out that there was an individual, they would probably kill them. If we don't investigate the individual, the problem will never get another chance because they're probably going to not be an individual for long.
Okay. Well, you
Seems
have
a-
control of your characters. Andrews appears to be lining up on the door.
Oh, did Mendola give me my rifle back?
He did.
Awesome.
Warily, but he did.
We all ready?
Yep.
Okay. The door opens, and you hear a bit of a startled "Oh!" from inside the room, and you see a lone crew person in the colours of the science division. She appears to be analysing data, and as she sees you come in, she kind of does a double take. So obviously people coming and going around here is not unusual, but when she sees the nature of your outfits, she does kind of startle. Who are you?
We can ask
Nobody,
the same-
carry on.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can
You
ask
are
you the
no
same
one.
question. As far as we understood it, being alone on board the ship is a requisition for treason and summary execution. Is that not the current requirements?
Yes, underneath Commander Mallory, but at the moment I operate underneath Science Officer Takahashi, and he asked me to do some urgent tests. So, does Takahashi know you're coming? I don't recall seeing you on the crew before.
I'm sure if you've got adequate setup for precautions of safety, then Takahashi will probably know that we're en route.
Indeed. You wouldn't mind if I checked with him then? It's just that if you're here looking for supplies, we didn't get notice that anyone was going to be picking them up anytime soon, so I would have to check the supplies to see if we have enough to give out.
We're mainly not here for supplies. We're here mainly for information.
Okay. Maybe I should take you to the Chief Science Officer then. If you'll come this way. She kind of wearily kind of steps around you. And when she sees there's more of you out in the corridor, she kind of, startles and kind of backs away, trying to keep you all in view.
What
This
is
way?
your field of expertise?
Well, usually exobiology, but at the moment I'm being asked to study tissue samples. So,
What have you found out from your tissue samples? Out of
I'm
interest.
not sure I should say anything without Chief Takahashi's permission. So, if you'll all just come with me, we can talk to the Chief. This way, please.
I think we've gone out of our way to frighten this person out of their life.
What was that, Jan?
I wanted to know if the
Sorry, that
samples
was
are
John.
safe.
I know it was John, but Jan also said something.
Ah,
I don't know if the samples are safe there. In this sort of atmosphere of distrust, shouldn't somebody be checking the samples?
I would glance over them, see if there's anything odd about them. Just...
Yeah, I was just about to subtly ask Rara to take a tricorder scan before he heads.
Okay, Bravo.
Take a try.
Can
Do you want me to
indeed
take
give
a
me a
tricorder
control
scan as
plus
well?
medicine check. What was
I
that,
mean,
Gareth?
it was more.
I was to say, do you want me to give him a check as well?
It's more
I
that
would.
Bravo was still in the room.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But it's up to you. We can I've got no issues with us overrightly
Woo!
going against her wishes.
Alright, so that gains you 1 momentum because you only needed 1, but those are definitely human tissue samples. It looks like they're being... their genome, basically, sequences being analysed. And they appear to be samples from different crew members. Do you want to spend momentum to ask, to obtain information and ask a question? No? Okay.
No, I think I'll just work on the assumption they're just checking their own people and people that visit them.
Okay.
I have a question, which would be, would at this point the ship have full genetic data on its crewmen because it's Japanese, or would they only be able to check effectively human blood type? Would they have just sequenced individual data?
You don't know. It's quite an old ship.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, standard medical practice on a Starfleet vessel in the 24th century would be you would have as much medical information about crew members as you possibly could, so that, you know, the medical crew would be able to more accurately, you know, compare and contrast. Whether that was the case back when humanity was just starting to use warp drive, or had only recently... No, that's fine. You know, they'd only recently achieved warp 5, so...
I was going to say, it could be safely assumed that they're just taking samples and looking for anything that doesn't appear human.
Could be.
And under the assumption that the alien's DNA wouldn't be able to change once it's been taken. Or they've got a sample of that as well. If somebody's managed to wing it.
It's possible. What you saw in there certainly just appeared to be human crew members' samples. Or human samples. Right. The science crewman is waiting at the end of the corridor for you. She opens the door.
Ah, there's a clone. They're all clones.
Or it could be that I'm just using a generic token.
One of them is the alien. Shoot first.
Yes, various crewmen. The one that stands out, of course, is the one that the one you just met goes over to. Man with the Oriental cast, who just nods after she whispers something to him, or at least speaks to him in hushed tones. And he puts down his notepad and walks over to you. Greetings, I'm Chief Science Officer Shiro Takahashi. I don't believe I've seen you on this crew before. And those outfits. I don't remember us having any kind of EVA suits of that caliber before. Where have you come from?
So,
Lieutenant Commander...
what is...
Sorry, you first, yeah.
So what is your specialty? I'm hoping to find somebody who's familiar with temporal distortions.
Temporal distortions? Well, I'm afraid that's not currently my field of investigation. As the Chief Science Officer on board the Atlantis, my job here is to delve into all scientific problems, but at the moment we have a somewhat singular issue on board the ship, as I'm sure you're already aware.
Yes. I'm Lieutenant Commander Sophia Andrews, commander of this expedition party from the NX Navis. We heard your distress call and have come to investigate the situation.
A distress call was answered. Oh, thank goodness. But I'm afraid you've come at a rather difficult time.
Yes, we gathered the situation is getting tense on board, and also the fact that the ship's condition is strained.
Indeed. The sooner we get off of this thing, the better. But at the moment, as you can see, we're having difficulties with an intruder. What do you know of this intruder?
Only what the engineering faction have told us.
Ah, so you've spoken with Phillips's lot. I see. Well, whatever the engineering lot may think, I think they themselves are incorrect in their assumption. I believe what we are dealing with is a Romulan bioweapon. I am currently endeavoring to discover means by which we can identify the creature. I am hoping we might be able to even capture it. It would become an interesting irony if we were able to use the Romulans' own weapon against them, don't you think? He waits for a good couple of seconds to see if you're on the same page as him, and when he gets no response, he kind of coughs.
I think Andrews is stifling a laugh at that notion.
I think it would be helpful to have a full rundown of the situation from your point of view. When did you first become aware of this bioweapon?
The moment it was reported to have been brought on board, and everything, well, to put it less than delicately, went to shit.
So the first point being a ship or similar was detected within the anomaly?
Correct. Then the pod was brought on board to be examined, and this weapon emerged from inside of the pod and unfortunately subsumed one of our crew members before escaping, and is now potentially anywhere on the ship. Doesn't help, of course, that the situation has been exasperated by that fool Phillips.
So when you say potentially anywhere on the ship, it could be in this very room?
Well, I would hope not. In any case...
How do you know?
Well, I have personally screened every single individual in here, and I continuously perform screen testings.
Techniques.
I take tissue samples.
Were there any tissue samples left from the pods that this bioweapon emerged from?
Sadly, no. Upon the emergence of the creature, there was a situation in the shuttle pod. What's the thing called? Launch bay. Due to the gravitational stresses being exerted on the ship, opening the launch bay doors caused a weakness in the surrounding structural integrity. As soon as it was determined that the bioweapon had escaped into the rest of the ship, the launch bay was evacuated and the area around it sealed off. Nobody has been into the launch bay since it is now open to the vacuum of space.
I would be interested in surveying this personally. These suits should hold up to such an environment without difficulty.
Yes, indeed. They seem to be a lot more advanced than our current suite of EVA suits. Tell me, where did you come across this particular model?
Standard issue on our vessel.
I see. I wasn't aware that Starfleet had made any advances to EVA suit technology in such a short space of time. Clearly, I've been kept out of the loop.
Matt, does he actually use the word Starfleet?
Yeah. It wasn't uncommon.
Oh, right, so they've actually using the term Starfleet then.
Yeah, as it happens, I happened to watch an episode of Star Trek Enterprise just earlier on today, and they actually used the word Starfleet, so...
Fair enough.
Starfleet is the human arm of the Federation.
Yeah.
The
Our
military
Starfleet.
Yeah.
Consisting of
We
all
have
of
such
one
great
vessel.
names. Yeah. No, just thought I'd check.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I watched a few episodes of Enterprise I did watch.
That's fine.
You didn't by any chance make any changes to the transporter?
The transporter system? Goodness no. I've been far too busy with what I've been asked to do, which is solve the problem of the alien.
Do you mind me asking, was there any sensor readings or visual record made of the opening of the pod that it was contained in?
Sadly, no. Well, we don't have suit-mounted cameras, as you know. Well, I don't know. You look like you might have some there.
Well, I was thinking more of any
Well, the crew members who were present at the opening of the pod were both security personnel, so... And one of them was subsumed.
And the other one survived?
Correct.
And what happened to him? Is
He reported back to Commander Mallory, as far as I'm aware.
Right.
But you don't know if maybe he was the alien. Or she.
If you're going to split
So
hairs in
alien.
that regard, then I suppose, no, I don't know.
I want to interview this person, I believe.
Well, you can try, but I believe Commander Mallory might be more interested in having words with you first.
Yes. As you have agreed, this ship is not in the best condition at the best, even regardless of the presence of this creature. You are the science officer?
Correct.
Would it be the medical officer that would be helpful in determining how to get your people off of this ship once this is resolved?
The chief medical officer is the doctor, and he does what doctors do. That is condescend. Thinks he knows everything. I, however, am the chief science officer, and therefore it's my solemn duty to fix the problem at hand going on the ship, which at the moment is the hostile entity currently roaming through the ship, pretending to be a human.
So
I am very happy to have you to work with on this, and as I say, I will attempt to get you readings off of the vessel that this weapon came in on, if I can get access to that hangar, as I am very interested in this creature myself. But yes, I believe that Lieutenant Commander Andrews would probably benefit greatly from working with with your doctor and ours in getting a plan together for getting all of you to safety.
Yes, well, as you can imagine, Commander Mallory isn't all that keen on anyone getting off the ship as of yet, in case one of them is the bioweapon. So we need to have that eliminated first.
What was the information that the surviving security officer, did they witness once the other security officer was subsumed, the weapon transform or meld into it? Basically, what I'm asking is, where exactly did the information that this thing takes on the forms of people it encounters come from?
From the security officer who witnessed his fellow being consumed by the creature, who then adopted the consumed crewman's appearance.
Right, and what happened next? So one obviously...
I believe he opened fire on the creature, and it then fled.
Fled? How exactly? That's what I'm...
Gained access to one of the Jeffries... No, it wouldn't be a Jeffries tube. It gained access to one of the... what's the word? Maintenance tubes, and disappeared into the bowels of the ship. It was chaos at that point, you understand.
I understand.
So do you think it's set up some form of safe place that it's operating from?
Who knows? It's certainly why Chief Engineer Phillips was as busy as she was with isolating parts of the ship.
Has there been any confirmed sightings inter-faction? As in, has anyone from engineering confirmed a sighting of it as an engineering person? Has anyone from command seen it as someone from command?
If you're asking me whether or not there were any corroborated instances of seeing this creature transform in somehow in order to give itself away, the answer currently, I'm afraid, would be no, not to my knowledge, which is why I have a very important task that I am, at present, not engaged upon.
Have we eliminated the possibility that the initial security officer was hallucinating due to an effect from the contents of the vapors or gases aboard the possibly unoccupied vessel.
Are you
It could have been
saying that we're
effectively-
making all of this up?
It's entirely possible that what you'd been aboard was indeed a bioweapon of some kind, or indeed a chemical weapon, a torpedo filled with hallucinogenic gas. This doesn't appear to have been eliminated.
Samples been taken. Yeah, as a man of science, you must agree that for a crew doubtless well picked as a ship like this, it's unusual the factionization of this type was happened so very quickly. You also
Well,
indicate
if there wasn't
you
such
also-
rampant insubordination amongst certain members of engineering, we possibly wouldn't have the situation. We would have a unified method of trying to isolate members of the crew in order to make sure that the creature could not go on. And I fear I have stated my opinion far too openly, so if you'll excuse me, sirs, madams, I really must be getting back to work. I have tests to perform in order to ensure that we can finally locate this alien, if we haven't already. Now, if you really wish to speak to the chief medical officer and glean whatever it is that he's managed to glean, feel free. The sickbay is only a few meters down the corridor from here. I, in the meantime, have some serious work to do, and I have very little time left to do it. As you have quite rightly pointed out, the ship is in a deteriorating state. So unless there are any other questions you wish to answer me that are pertinent to the situation at hand, the docking bay should be accessible to you via various bulkheads. You will need to go down to Deck F, I do believe. That is the lowest point on the ship that you will be able to gain access to via the access ladder systems. You may have to pass through 2 sealed bulkheads, but the activation systems for pressurizing and depressurizing are fairly standard. And you have EVA suits. What was that? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Ray, I love ladders.
Now,
Cardio, Natala.
if you will excuse me, I have samples that could be wasting away whilst you interrogate me. So do excuse me. Wrong character, Matt. It's supposed to be this one. Doodop. Doodop. Doodop.
Where did it seem? Shall we try and find some information from the chief medical officer?
It's worth a try.
I think we need to try and gather as much information as possible.
Yeah.
What annoys me the most is that the majority of the senior staff seem to be very egotistical.
They all
Let me
seem
see
to
that
think
to
they're
any of the
right.
people in the room to give any reaction when he says that.
Well, they appear to be nervous, certainly, but they are obviously trying to focus on the tasks at hand. And they're busy going through various bits of biological data, trying to sift through stuff.
That's the science officer. You can doctorate the doctor.
Yeah. Step outside. Is there anyone around?
Not really, but I can move you to whoever wants to go to sickbay. I can move you to the sickbay.
Well,
Matt.
it's more before I went to sickbay. Once I was out in the corridor, I wanted to try and use my tricorder to detect if there's anything unusual in the air, like some sort of chemical that might be causing potential emotional changes.
Okay.
So,
What was that, Jan?
Psychotropic.
Psychotropic. Or, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time in this adventure we've encountered a chemical that messed up with the human brain.
Okay. By all means, control plus medicine.
Okay.
Difficulty 1.
Okay.
None of your focuses, I think, apply at this point. 2
Yeah,
successes.
2
Okay,
successes.
cool. You detect no sign of any aerosolized compounds in the air. But with 1 success over, you do detect the presence of bacteria in the general area that suggests decomposition.
Composition. Can I tell if it's human biological material decomposition, or is it too decomposed to work out the specifics?
Yeah, it's trace amounts. So, unless
So there's a skeleton coverage somewhere there.
So I didn't get what you said.
suggest there might be a
Yeah,
cupboard
let's
somewhere
roll
with a body in it.
Yeah,
Somebody's got a skeleton in the closet.
Literally.
yeah. What I was thinking of doing with that information is, as we go, repeatedly search for that to see if it's a localized effect or if, as we go, it just seems to be a constant.
Okay, in that case, whilst following it, you trace it this way, then
Yep.
you turn eastwards,
Yep.
then you come to this door here where it seems to be concentrated.
Shall we all go with the doctor?
Yeah,
Okay.
the doctor's reluctant to wander off on his own.
We let him go on his own. How else do we accuse him of being treasonous when he gets back?
As he comes up and goes,
Aha!
walk back 10 minutes later. Hello, I am Dr. Lloyd Bertram. I look forward to a successful mission with my fellow humanoids.
My twirly mustache is not a blatant giveaway that I am not Bertram.
Yes. Yeah, it's following. I'll have sort of like told the group of what I've detected when we get here. Said it seems concentrated behind this door.
Concentrated is in what way? As in,
If I'm reading this correctly, this would be the most likely source. It doesn't seem to be uniform around this area. This basically seems like the source of where these readings are coming from.
stand clear then, Doctor.
Okay.
Nope, the door's sealed.
How is it sealed? Has it been
How
welded
much
shut?
shocking since this is a
Well, no, it's just locked.
we are aware that life support has been shut off to areas before. I recommend before unsealing any bulkheads or doors, everyone put their helmets back up.
Can I scan to see if there's a vacuum or anything like that on the other side?
Sure, this will be con plus science.
Okay.
Science! Sorry, I have to do that.
Science!
Do,
2 successes.
Oh, blimey. Right. Wow, okay, yeah. There's no vacuum on the other side, but with that extra success, you get a reading that the temperature is below freezing.
There's a breathable atmosphere, but the temperature is below freezing. Like they specifically got a high-powered freezing unit facility here, or something like that.
Maybe they're just storing the bodies there.
Well, would it be within the capabilities of an ordinary life support system to drive the temperature of room to this point?
Yeah, you can
Life-
change. You can change the
In
temperatures
theory,
and
yeah, in
life support
theory,
systems.
habitation control should be able to be done.
Yeah.
That's a serious power drain to take the facility down to below zero.
Yeah.
This would potentially be a morgue, then, or like you're saying, a makeshift body area.
Yeah. Is it possible they've been
How
storing
far
bodies?
How far below zero is it?
We're talking like -7.
Okay.
Industrial freezer, which is -18. This is,
So
just
they've put it down low enough to be very, very cold, just not so low that it requires massive amounts of power to maintain.
So maybe to try and delay the decomposition smell.
How would we go about unlocking the door?
That would be... Well,
Then
Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say phaser cut through. Screw it. It's not that shit.
necessary. I think if we get this panel open, we should probably be able to figure it out.
So yeah,
'Cause
you
if
can
we-
go
if
about
it's
it a number of
something that
ways.
we want, if it's something that we want to keep locked up in there, and we've just broke the lock off, As much as I admire your passion for phaser weapons, Lieutenant Bravo, I think yes, we opened the panel. We forced the panel to unlock.
So to remove the panel, it's going to be a fitness and engineering test to do some manual and jiggery-pokery with the lock.
I'm quite fit, not very engineering minded, so I probably can assist.
Okay, but yeah, either Liquid or Bravo could be the ones to actually do the manipulation of said manual override, since they're the engineering types.
Yeah.
Can I assist?
Absolutely.
Well, that.
One success.
Was fitness
This
and
was gonna be a 2. So fitness and engineering, yeah. So that's
What? Unless you want to spend
one.
momentum.
I guess reroll.
Yeah, spend a momentum. Do it.
Spend a momentum to reroll, okay. Unless you want to succeed at cost. Well, that's,
Succeed at cost.
Option B.
Push the threat up, boys. Come on, let's take the threat 8.
Yes, we want to increase the threat right after we detected potentially decomposing bodies.
Right, so do you want to succeed at cost?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, you do unlock it. But then the alarm goes off. Doot, 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 doot.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Quickly open the door. Let's see what's in there, and then we'll run off.
Yep, you've got bodies in see-through plastic bags. Dressed in, well, they're not dressed because they're undressed. Humans, dead crew members probably. Looks like they've had tissue samples taken from them. I'm going to ask you to give me, Andrews is the one in there, so she's got only a moment to have a look. Insight plus... it's not going to be your best, but I'm going to give you insight plus medicine.
Yeah.
Difficulty 1.
Insight 8, medicine 1.
And Natala is definitely seeing the chief science officer and his staff are now running down
bloody
the...
hell.
Wowza! Okay.
Turns out she remembers her medicine classes.
I paid attention in medicine.
Right,
You
so...
were paying attention when I was giving those lectures.
Right, so on a quick glance, what you notice is the ones at the far back of this cadaver storage are in advanced stages of decomposition. They were likely already dead. What alarms you is the ones closer to you show less signs of lividity, meaning that these guys might have been alive when they were killed, and then had bits. They were then basically vivisected. And then you've got the chief science officer running down the corridor going, "What is the meaning of all of this?"
Oh, I really want to rifle punch him for that. Just PTSD survival champion kicking in.
So, you
deleting
are
the
here with
comments.
the engineering faction to, what, sabotage our ability to find the alien? It looks like Mallory was right.
I'm just holding the rifle up now, like being really controlled. Performing vivisection on your own crew is a barbacity. It is as a man of science, you know the lines between safety and throwing precaution to the wind.
As a man of science and a member of this crew, I will have you know it is my duty to find ways of detecting the intruder amongst us, which for all I know might be you now.
By murdering your fellow crewmates.
They were volunteered. Now,
By
as he says this,
murdering
his own science crew are now backing away from him.
Yeah.
I'll have you know this happened under the orders of Commander Mallory. He's gonna sweat now that you're right up in his face. This is necessary part of what's required to save the rest of the crew. A necessary sacrifice for the sum to... Okay, poof. 5 success, so you've knocked him down, and he's taken 5 stress. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He died. You knock him to the deck. Ah! He kind of lets out a pathetic little kind of cry as he gets hit.
You violated the Hippocratic Oath of the medical facility team for scientific endeavour. You are not a scientist.
The chief engineer didn't have the balls to do what was necessary. Only I and Commander Mallory do. And she's in charge here, not you, interloper.
The samples you took from her to make sure she wasn't a bioweapon manipulating you to doing its work for her?
Of course not.
Have you ever thought that the interloper could be Commander Mallory, and that she's getting you to perform barbaric experiments on your own crew?
Impossible. It
What
can't be.
scientific evidence is there as a man of science? Surely not just your own emotion, your own dislike of admitting that maybe you were wrong. Surely
the only one who has cause to defy orders of the next in line of command, which Chief Phillips did, would be the alien. It stands to reason and logic, therefore, that Phillips is the alien. I just had to prove it.
The chief medical officer can prove that the captain or commanding officer is no longer fit for duty. Standard Starfleet protocol. The only person that can outrank the captain on decisions is the chief medical officer.
Oh,
Why
please.
wasn't he involved in making decisions?
He doesn't have the balls. Martinez is just a yes man for the captain. Not that the captain's around anymore.
Why, what did happen to the captain?
Well, it's painfully obvious, isn't it? Phillips murdered him.
Oh,
On what proof?
and a man of
Prove it.
science has what to prove this?
Mallory said as much. Because she's the alien, as in Phillips. Phillips has to be the alien. There'd be no other reason for her to countermand her authority like that.
Unless she's talking sense. It makes no sense that your commanding officer would instantly throw blame to your chief engineer. It makes no sense that your captain strangely disappears moments after an alien interloper infiltrates your ship, and all of a sudden your commanding officer starts making decisions that put the crew's lives in jeopardy.
She was
Logic
ensuring our safety.
Ensuring your safety by performing vivisection. That is not a particularly Bond way that any science person should act.
How long have you been here? Enduring this situation? I don't think you have been. In fact, he kind of backs away and then gets up to his feet. These people could be Romulans.
Look at me.
He's looking to his security. Not his security. He's looking to his staff now. Obviously, you know that thing that Karens do when they look around to try and see if they can get other people on their side.
Get the crowd response.
Yeah.
I wonder what your friends think of vivisecting members of their own crew at the behest of an apparently deranged first, commanding officer in charge right after the captain mysteriously disappeared, and the complete lack of scientific reason being used by the chief science officer to justify murder.
Well, let's see, shall we? He reaches into his pocket and pulls out his communicator.
Oh, he's being punched in the face before he even opens.
Takahashi to 2 successes. No effects. So he's not out, but he gets walloped. I am gonna say that he drops the communicator at that point, but you do hear a female voice on the other side of that communicator. Takahashi, report. Takahashi? Takahashi, you went to the trouble of communicating with me. Tell me whether or not you're ready to go through with the test.
I'm going to point my phaser at him and say, tell her that nothing is wrong. False alarm.
Ellie, you ready?
Well, yes. Actually, yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
We're ready, Commander. Excellent. Then, if you'll excuse me, at which point, if I can just find it. Where's my notes? Where's my notes? Where's my notes? Right, excuse me just a second. I have to go through all of these. Get these notes. Notice I said notes, not nuts. Da-da-da-da. Right. Aha. At which point the broadcast comes over the system of the entire, the communication system of the entire ship. This is Acting Captain Mallory speaking. As you may know, we now have Chief Engineer Phillips in our custody. She stands accused of mutiny, and may very well be the alien intruder which would explain a great many things about her behavior of late. A military tribunal will convene within the hour in the main conference room on B-deck to determine the Chief Engineer's innocence or guilt. Those who wish to attend must relinquish their weapons to Lieutenant Parrish upon arriving through the computer core. All other access points to this deck have been sealed. That is all. Doo-doo. So, continues Takahashi, as you can see, it's too late.
What experiment? Talk or I'm going to break your jaw. And then the doctor will reset it and I'll break it again.
Mallory and I agree action needs to be taken. So I was to find the means by which I could prove that Phillips is the alien. Except I haven't. But I'm going to present a device which will prove that she is the alien when Mallory accuses her of such.
She is the alien, not proves whether or not she's the alien, because you've already made your mind up.
Show me this device.
What was that, John? I didn't quite catch that.
Show me this device, please.
He kind of pulls it out. It looks like a slightly modified medical scanner for the time.
I point the device at him and activate it.
You're going to take it from him first. Well, I imagine Andrew just kind of walks over, grabs it, and then hands it to Natala.
Yeah.
Bertram actually asks if he can examine it if it looks medical in nature.
Between the two of you, come to a conclusion of what it does.
Yeah, so by all means, Natala can assist. Which would be reason plus... I'm going to go with science. She's got biology, so Natala gets to use a focus here. So I'm rolling for Natala. I get one success. So for Bertram, it's going to be reason plus medicine. And you do get to add your genetics focus for this.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
What
lots
if
of successes, but there is a complication. That's about as wide range.
Do you want to spend a momentum, the one that you
was
just
suggesting-
earned?
Please, this might come under Natala's ability.
Ignore the... What was it? Studious or technical expertise. When you attempt task assisted by the ship's sensors? No, not studious. Whenever you spend one or more momentum to obtain information? No.
Is it
No.
Bob?
Is it parent figure? When attempting to assist a task, 2 or more characters are involved. The first complication may be ignored. There we are. Lovely.
Cool.
So ignore that complication then.
Okay, so that'd be 2 successes for me.
2 successes for you. Meets 3 successes, so you gain 1 over what you needed. So yeah, it's a medical. It's a medical device. They haven't got tricorders at this point in time. A medical scanning device that's been altered to scan tissue samples and produce a result. It should, by rights, have a baseline genetic sample that it's comparing against. Only it doesn't. And it's been rigged to deliver a false positive.
Awesome.
Bertram sort of looks over at Takahashi and with voice absolutely dripping with disdain, he says, "And you call yourself a man of science?"
Oh well, if the rest of your science team will excuse us, we've found the alien.
Yeah,
Can I have this?
They back away.
And then it tells us it's pointed right at you, and it says you're an alien.
I'm not the alien. I made that device.
Oh well.
You made it
it
to
must
frame
work.
a person.
No, it must work because you're not wrong in your assumptions.
I
Therefore,
never
the
said that
device
I
is
was wrong.
infallible.
By
The device is
assumptions.
infallible because you're infallible in your logic. Therefore, this device has proven that we have found the alien. We're
No,
taking
the
the alien
device
to
was
go and visit
created
the
to
commander.
provide a false positive because Mallory asked me to.
No, definitely wasn't because you're the chief science officer Takahashi. You don't make mistakes. You
At this point, to be helped, how many of these people have seen this conversation?
Is that John asking or Natala asking?
Yep. Well, this is basically just looking around the room and looking at how many witnesses there are of this confession.
Well, there are the 4 other science crew right over there who are now looking at Takahashi horrified.
Tell the engineering crew of this deception that's been put in play. This trial is a farce.
Okay, so 2 of them break off and are going to go towards the engineering lot.
I'm going to move forward and make sure he doesn't run.
Yep, they proceed off in the right direction. The remaining 2, one of them goes, "What do you want us to do with?" And she kind of just gestures at him, at Takahashi. That.
Lock him in with his. Lock him in with his. No, we're taking him with us. He's our alien.
Oh yeah, we need his confession as well in front of the.
We need his confession in front of the entire crew.
Yeah, the command corps.
Okay. Bravo, yeah, you see the 2 science officers, they break off in the direction that you came from to go to engineering. Yep, these 2 science folks are going to accompany you as witnesses, so what do you want to do now?
Yeah, so if they're going to join us with a witness, I say we head straight there.
Straight there. Well, it's going to be within the hour, so let's see.
So do we have enough time to check in with the chief medical officer as well?
You probably do.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see if he even knew about it, or if he didn't know about it. If this is enough to, as a certain someone said, help him find his balls to do the whole.
To do the correct action is that the commander is not fit for duty.
Sick bay.
I want to also search Chief Science Officer, make sure he's not armed or hiding anything suspicious.
Oh, he's got a phaser rifle pointed at his head.
I know, but we haven't searched him. He's just been handing out his equipment.
I thought for a second you were going to say he was hiding a phaser rifle in his head. I'm not sure how.
He's a cyborg as well.
You all saw him. He had a gun.
To his head.
Right. Let's get you to the sick bay area. Now then, Chiefs, sick bay. Located on E deck. Here you go. The other science crew kind of guide you and open the door to the sick bay. Just realised that Chief. There we are. And it seems the chief medical officer is informed, and he comes walking forwards. He, of course, he stops when he sees Takahashi and has a bit of a at first a bit of an, oh god, you, look on his face, but then he notices that Takahashi's bleeding, and then kind of takes a step forward and looks around at you guys. Greetings, I'm Chief Medical Officer Alejandro Martinez. What's going on here?
Chief Takahashi has something that he needs to tell you.
At which point, Martinez just kind of slumps and gives him the look of, oh, you didn't. I knew it, gestures Martinez. I knew you were up to something. God damn it, Takahashi. I didn't think even you were capable of this kind of horror, but I was right. He has been doing it, hasn't he? The disappearing crew members?
Yes. You found them, the ones that were dead and the ones that were alive before he got his hands on them.
Alive. Alive. Alive, Takahashi? Seriously? Oh my god.
That's not all.
Yeah.
So, tell him about the device that you rigged up for
I'll
the
check
trial.
if
that's
his
been announced.
reactions are genuine or like he hasn't rehearsed it.
Bravo,
thinking,
you do. Bravo. You do not even need to make a check. It's coming off of Martinez in waves. It's shock and
You're
horror.
disgust.
And yeah, this guy's reaction was from deep in his gut and just came out. The rapidity of it means that it's in no way faked, no way prepared. It's no way prepared. For God's sake, was it worth it? Was it worth licking Mallory's boots for this, just so you could get out of here? God damn it! We're supposed to be Starfleet. We're supposed to be better than this.
What do you mean, get out of here, Doctor?
Well, apparently, the Chief Science Officer and Commander Mallory were going to present their revelation that they'd found the alien, and then we were going to all be able to get out of here somehow. Heavens knows what they were going to pull. I mean, I don't know how we're going to get out of here, much less how they've managed to identify the alien, if there even is one. Which,
we
I
found
hasten
the
to
alien.
note, I don't believe there is.
Oh, we found the alien, Doctor. Watch. I'm going to point his device at Takahashi and press the button. Oh, look! Alien.
What is this? Takahashi's not
in his
saying
own
anything
words-
now, he's just looking down.
Yeah. In Takahashi's own words, the device he rigged up for your acting captain to create a false positive on her prisoner.
Oh my god.
Which almost sounds like your acting captain is not fit for command. And as the chief medical officer, you are the only person that can relieve her from duty.
You know what? I would very much like to if I could. Unfortunately, Mallory is, how shall we say, determined, if not completely intransigent at the moment. If I even suggested... Well, you've now given me the ammunition I need, it seems. I assume you heard the announcement that she just made over the intercom just moments ago.
We did.
I don't believe this is a bioweapon. I mean, I know the engineering people believe this is a bioweapon, and I know that Mallory and her people think that this is some kind of alien bent on copying us and infiltrating our number, but I don't think that's the case. I mean, think about it. What's one of the biggest emissions that we've come across besides gravitons and tachyons? Electromagnetic radiation, which makes sense because of the gravitational anomaly. It's entirely possible, if not probable, that the electromagnetic radiation is toying with people's minds, causing them to become paranoid, seeing connections where there aren't any, or monsters where there aren't any. Unfortunately, nobody wants to hear my opinion. But, of course, that's irrelevant now because we have something a lot more important we need to do, which is to stop this farce of a tribunal. What would you like me to do?
As I
Come with
said,
us to the tribunal and use it as a stage for whatever you need to say.
yes,
Okay.
you are the only person that can effectively relieve her from command. She's not fit for duty.
Well, that's not going to be easy. We're going to be meeting in what's technically her territory.
The fact that, as a Starfleet vessel, your command structure has disintegrated within 2 days due to paranoia suggests that she is not fit for command.
And also
The
lends a certain
engineering-
amount of credence to my theory.
The
Hypothesis.
engineering faction will be moving to there because we have advised them of the situation that's been going off with our good friend the alien here.
Oh, God. You mean you've got the entire engineering faction now marching towards the conference room?
Well, the commander herself issued the actual decree that there was going to be a tribunal. Everyone has the right to attend. But also having both sides together would actually give us the chance to work something out between us all.
I agree. But,
It's a stressful situation. There are going to be people that are going to be trigger happy, but at the same time, if people understand of the shit show that's been orchestrated behind the scenes, it may bring to revelation that someone is not who they say they are, or that there is some strange that, as you said, that it is just pure paranoia, and that whatever was pulled on board has triggered a series of events that has led people to believe they're in the situation they're in now.
okay. Give me a few moments to get my medical staff together. We'll accompany you all up to the conference room. I'll make sure to have emergency medical supplies on standby just in case tensions do erupt. May I ask, what are you going to do when we get to the checkpoint where they ask us to hand over weapons?
We want to smuggle our weapons in your medical gear.
Oh,
Prove that Takahashi is the alien.
oh.
We've then got to keep guns on him.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Hey, he's the one that killed innocent people.
True.
I don't believe
At the same
that
time,
the use of medical.
Sorry, you first.
I was going to counter the argument of putting things into the medical
Yeah.
kits. That
I was
doesn't seem
the same.
correct.
The doctor's job is to cure people, not to aid in potentially injuring people.
Yes, and that's why Starfleet has torpedoes and phasers.
They're
The
for
doctor's
protective
not normally
purposes.
the one firing said phasers and torpedoes.
I like that because that actually fits this very almost misanthropic character that we've created with Gregory Liquid.
Shut up, Lacude. It's like Meg. Shut up, Meg.
It is, yeah, that's why Starfleet has torpedoes and phaser bags. Because we're on a mission of peace.
Yes.
Why do I think that Liquid's going to be the main the most sarcastic transport chief there ever was? He likes to put things in air quotes.
Realism.
It's a rolling thing with transporter chiefs.
Saviors of the Federation. Anyway.
I think that we go with the initial route of providing that that we have proven that Takahashi is the alien, and therefore we are bringing him in under escort. If they insist that we hand over weapons, we will disarm.
At that point, surely they have no further reason for their actions, so they don't need to kill Phillips, they don't need to do the trial. We're essentially presenting them with proof they're wrong.
We are trying to persuade people that are potentially suffering from paranoia, though.
But then they should be
What?
paranoid enough to believe that the chief medical officer has, done his job.
How about we go with the strategy of using the device on the commander?
I think we do need to do that.
I don't think we'd get to the commander with weapons, though.
No, we wouldn't.
We need to get past her guards first.
We need to persuade her guards to let us in.
Are we all required for this, or could two of us head down to gather more information on the nature of what came aboard?
But the problem is, as long as something coming aboard, as our conversations with Mr. Takahashi over there proved, it all comes down to a single security guard's description. The security guard that is out of our
Yeah,
reach.
we could verify whether anything came aboard.
Yeah.
You know, there would be some evidence in the hangar bay of something happening.
I don't like splitting our number.
Yeah. Especially with the time we've got left.
We would have minutes.
Yeah.
It may be beneficial, but at the same time, if there is something down there, we're putting ourselves in a very stressed position.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing that I would like is potentially a uniform, if that's possible, so that at least one of us can blend in.
The only uniforms I've got are medical uniforms, if that's sufficient.
Takahashi would have removed some uniforms before performing certain surgeries.
That's true. Martinez glares at Takahashi again at this. Seriously, man, you make me sick. Okay.
We blend in. We take weapons appropriate for the situation rather than our own. That would be the quickest route, because then we can then make out that we are part of the direct crew rather than the rescue operation.
So, how about some sedatives?
Yeah.
I'd like
Actually,
if we're
that would.
if we are
that
going
would
down
be.
the if we are going
that
down the uniform route, I'd prefer a medical personnel one.
Nikute does have a good point, though.
Yeah.
Doctor, do you have any sedative on you that we could administer pretty quickly?
Just checking with the DM, would I have anything like that in my medical kit?
More than likely. I mean, the thing with medical kits in the 24th century is it's like
It's hyperspray.
it's hyperspray. So you've got basically it's like a mini replicator.
Yeah.
So you just got to program in the chemical compound you want, and then it kind of creates the chemical, which you then just load into your hyperspray. So absolutely.
Yes, I've got a couple of those.
So if you're going to knock out Takahashi or whatever, or sedate him.
No. The guards on the entrance pathway.
Oh. Okay.
Lieutenant Bennett.
Okay then. In that case, let me just.
If you're intending to enter by subterfuge, I don't think I would be a good candidate. There may be many Novians within Starfleet, but I believe that they would be known aboard the ship.
Indeed. And it's a good thing you didn't bring Nova along, because she can't lie.
Yeah.
That would have been awkward. Right, so just to summarize then, for my own benefit, the 2 science crew people are coming along as verification witnesses. You are taking Takahashi along with you. The medical crew are also coming along as well, along with Martinez. The engineering lot are going to be converging on there at some point as well. So let me just bring everybody back, because I'm trying to preload the map that we're going to be going to soon. You guys are going to be going along with the medical group, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it may be worthwhile that we try and get there and intercept the engineering group to say, be ready in case it does go to a shit show.
Okay.
We don't want we
Bit
want
of
them
a-
to be in the area.
Engineering controls life support, so a bit of an elaborate solution would have been to get some kind of drug that boosts our oxygen levels in our blood. They drop the oxygen levels in
Yes.
the area where the trial is going to happen. Knock everybody out except us who have heightened oxygen in our blood.
Well, we've got EVA suits.
Got
anyway.
EVA suits. We can just walk in when it's.
There you go.
Actually, have we got time to do that? Actually, that would be a lot better a solution. We have that. Yeah, we set that up.
You broke
Well,
up
they
there,
can
John,
fight.
sorry.
So basically, just have everyone congregate, then knock them out before they can start fighting.
Yes.
I think they'd shoot Phillips if we did that. If they thought that engineering were performing some kind of plan to enact a rescue by reducing their oxygen life support, I think they'd just execute the prisoner.
Mm.
Yeah.
They could have it set up. We can try and get the engineering team to set that up.
Well, if I can't go in via the subterfuge, then what if I and, say, one of the medical personnel headed over to engineering now?
Part of the interception.
Hmm. Yeah, the interception group, and then tell them to
Okay.
plan this. And then, if we do have some of the doc's additional hyper sprays, is that you can probably get that sent into the air system.
All right then. So the plan is you guys are Natala and one of the medical crew are going to try and intercept the engineering group as they more than likely are on their way towards the conference room to do whatever.
But I'm only planning to activate it on Andrew's signal.
Hmm.
And if that signal doesn't come, it doesn't come.
So you're planning on going to engineering yourself to try and knock
Yeah,
out
I'll
Spot?
see if I can get a volunteer from the medical group to go with me, just to another voice of reason that they know.
And are you going to tell the engineering crew what you intend to do?
Just to have a backup in case, just to prevent anyone from getting shot. Yes.
So you're going to tell them that your plan is to cut life support temporarily on the conference room area.
In the event of a fight breaking out, but only in the event of a fight breaking out.
So you're on standby. Okay. Okay. So in the meantime, the rest of you are going towards the conference room area, taking Takahashi, his two science crewmen, and Dr. Martinez going with you. Right. Okay. In which case, now, ordinarily I might take John off to one side, but because you seem to be keeping open comms, what Natala finds when she gets to engineering is that it seems like half of the engineering group are already gone, along with half of their, or most of their security detail. And one of the engineering guys tells you that they're basically loading up ready to perform a rescue mission. So getting them to, well, you then tell them the plan. And
Our negotiators are heading in now. I have full expectations and confidence that they will defuse the situation and get Phillips out of there. They have all of the tools necessary to relieve the commander of the command.
some of them definitely argue that they need to be there in case things happen so they can make sure they get Phillips out. So a load of them do proceed regardless of whether or not you object. But the one engineering ensign that you talked to shows you where the life support control panel is, and tells you how to, do what you're going to do. And he thinks it's a rather good idea.
Can we?
Mhm.
Can we potentially hijack the ship's signal to inform them that we have located the actual alien?
Hum, 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 hum. You can certainly try.
So who is here in this room where command has been transferred to that I am now in?
You are not in the command control room. You're going to be
Oh,
in
yeah.
life support, which is going to be
How many doors down?
back on... If I move you to the map, I'm going to keep your tokens on the map where the conference room is, so you can still see what's going on. But, oh no, you can't see what's going on, can you? I'm going to have to move you to deck D. Right, so deck D, if I make the... Can anybody see that? Or is it black
Yep.
for you guys?
We're on the transporter room.
see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
And do you see where Natala's at?
Yeah.
Natala's here. Yeah.
In the top right hand... Oh, she's down there, right. Oh yeah, good point.
If you click and drag, if you click and drag, you can see Natala.
Yeah, so if I actually drag Natala where she is going to be...
Yep.
This is the life support control room.
Mhm.
So, let me grab... Not the original...
So that's quite a way north of the command room, isn't it?
It's on the same deck, but it's not immediately close to, certainly. It's a little ways away from.
Okay.
It's like a couple of corridors and turns away from. But this crewman, goes with you to show you where the controls are. You will have a member of the sickbay group with you, but for now I will leave those. As you mosey over to the conference area. So, hopefully you can see yourselves. Like I said, I've only kept Natala and the medical crewman off to one side so you can still see, so that the tokens are still there. But you basically have a convoy. You yourselves are grouped with the medical and the science guys. The engineering guys are kind of trudging along behind you. And you're coming up to a bulkhead door. So I just have to find out where I'm...
There's 2 Nils as well. He's a clone. Kill him.
There's 4, isn't there?
No, the other one's called engineering crewman.
Alright.
Let me see. So that's that. Okay. So off you go. Do what you're gonna do. So basically, take the lead, and I'll move whatever characters need. Moving.
Well, I think Takahashi's being pushed to the front.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to be
Is it
directly behind
that,
him.
is it that door? Is it?
Yep, that way.
I would also have recommended that we brief Martinez to act on our side as well.
Okay.
So Martinez, obviously senior ranking medical officer, etc. His words should have merit.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're making him out to be the leader of the situation rather than us.
Yes.
Okay.
That we have assisted Martinez in actually apprehending the true alien.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoops, let me move that one. There you go.
Okay.
You try and be helpful, and then they try and be helpful, and then you're both trying to be helpful, and nobody's helping
Is that all
anybody.
good Finn? You just like step to the right and then step to the left, and then someone goes with the unfunny, "Shall we dance?" At which point I believe you're legally said, you are now declared unfit for duty for that old joke.
Okay. So yes, you open up onto the corridor. There are already 2 guys with phase pistols holstered, standing guard. And the entrance, according to Martinez, to the conference room is just past this dark-haired security officer by here, which he identifies as Lieutenant Parrish. And I'm not saying Paris and saying it with an S as if I was Sean Connery. It's Parish.
Lieutenant Ed Parish.
Tom Parrish.
It's Ed Parrish.
Not Ed Harris. Ed Parrish.
The famous Lieutenant Ed.
Yeah,
So-
Takahashi is constantly being pushed forward.
Yeah. So, yep. Andrew Martinez. With the science team. Okay. Boop boop boop. Medical officer. And a whole cluster of engineering crew folks. Let's move them up as a block. Whoop. Alright, the two command faction security guys go, make sure to hand your weapons over to Lieutenant Parrish before entering into the conference hall. And Martinez just, holds his hands up and goes, I am the doctor. I hold no weapons. So,
Except your wit.
thank you. Wait, should I be saying that? All right, so Ed Parrish. Let me see. Tom Parrish. I can't get out of my head now. Parrish. Where do I find Parrish? Right.
Perish the thought.
Okay. When you get up to Parrish himself, he's not what you expected. He wears an expression that seems to suggest he wants to be anywhere but here. He seems very uncomfortable with the whole thing. So please hand over all weapons before proceeding into the conference room. The tribunal will start soon.
Lieutenant, we have reason to believe that what the situation that's going on here is being exasperated and are trying to bring it to a resolution that will ensure that everyone survives.
How so?
Oh, right here, we're here to present the actual person who... Oh, we're here to present that there has been some level of distrust and subterfuge across the entire crew.
I see. Okay. Well, I am gonna have to ask you to hand over all weapons, and I will notify the commander that you wish to address the congregation. So, if you can hand over your weaponry, please. So, do you hand over your weaponry?
The rest of the group.
Or did you leave your weaponry behind? I didn't quite get
we
it.
would hand over weapons.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I thought we were going to get the doctor to inform them that we were here to take command of the situation, as it were.
Yeah.
Because
We
Mallory's...
we have reason to believe that Commander Mallory is not fit for duty.
I see. And
Commander, the chief medical officer of your vessel is here to verify that, along with the confession of your chief science officer Takahashi here.
he looks over at Takahashi, who's still very much downcast, and addresses the Dr. Martinez, asks him the question that you expect him to ask. Is this true? There's only a short diatribe between the two of them, at which point Parrish just seems to just inhale and set himself. He's like, oh, God damn it. Okay. Let's see what the captain says. But in order to not inflame a potentially dangerous situation, I am going to have to insist that all weapons are handed over. Things may not go quietly, is all I'm saying. So let's make sure triggers aren't being reached for. Can I at least ask for your cooperation in that regard?
We keep one phaser.
Agreed. This way, please. And he opens the door.
Who's going to have the gun?
I think you're the best shotter.
The best
Yeah.
shitter. Yeah.
Best shitter.
The best bullshitter.
Bravo reveals his true thoughts about Andrews.
Yes, now trait for Commander Andrews, the best shitter.
It's your nickname among the Bravos.
The last words are, I didn't expect this.
Right, let's see. Martinez, one of the medical lot, the two science guys, and there's the engineering guys. Now, the number of people who are attending this is actually a smidgen higher than the number of tokens. I just don't want to make it too crowded, but there are a good many people going to be stuffed into this conference room.
NPCs of the mind.
So the
Each token represents 2, which means that there are now 4 instant nils.
Yeah.
so
And a whole buttload of bravos.
Yeah.
so the
We
engineering
are
faction
Bravo.
pretty much all grouping together at one end, but
Did they hand over their weapons at least?
they did. They saw you. They saw you do it, and so they've gone in. But they're kind of all hanging back here. There are 2 other members of the command security team at this end of the room. There's one next to the door, and one further up on the northern end of the other 2 are just command crew folks. Lieutenant Parrish is here, and you guys are all filing in with your few. It's not long before you hear the strident tapping of feet against deck as, excuse me, a very commanding presence walks into the room, just goes straight past Lieutenant Bravo without even casting much of a glance, and takes the head of the, and gets the head of the table, as it were.
Otkin.
Is Bravo staying outside the door like that, or coming in with the rest?
Staying outside just in case it's a trap.
Okay, so
It's a trap.
security officer
Well, I
staying
realise
right
at this
there.
point they've gathered almost the entire leadership of the group in one room.
If Bravo's staying outside, can I kind of subtly hand signal to him to keep comms open? So that the comm lines between the inside of the room and the outside are open, and then the comm line from the outside of the room to the life support section is open.
Cool.
So effectively, if
So I can do it on the quiet.
if
Yeah.
Bravo loses comms to Andrews, then it's his call on whether he tells Natala to go ahead,
Okay.
etc.
Okay. Fine. That will be no problem. I won't ask for a check for that. As soon as Mallory walks in, however, I'm increasing the threat level because tensions grow. Mallory, a very severe-looking lady. She does, however, ooze confidence and project a very definite presence when she walks into the room. At which point she looks at you guys with Takahashi very close by, and of course Doc Martinez not far behind Andrews herself. So, says Mallory, you have managed to call this conclave together before I managed to. So I'm assuming this is another insubordinate action on the part of the engineering crew, but they seem to have encouraged Dr. Martinez onto their team.
Not at all.
And
Dr.
who would you
Martinez
be?
didn't-
Because I don't remember seeing you on my crew before.
Lieutenant Commander Sophia Andrews of the NX Navis. We received the distress call that you submitted and have come to aid in the situation.
We submitted no such distress call. So where did you
Strange.
actually come from?
Strange that we picked one up. As stated, I am Lieutenant Commander Sophia Andrews of the NX Navis. We heard your distress call. We responded.
Say I do take your word for it. What is your intention here in this tribunal?
Our intention is to make sure that an innocent person is not killed.
Innocent person. Interesting. Can we have the innocent person brought in, please? And security brings in, rather roughly, a rather beaten-looking lady. So, Phillips, it seems you've managed to snare more conspirators in your little web. It won't matter, of course. I have operational authority on this vessel, and I am the one who is authorized to call this court to order. If there are any opening statements anybody wishes to make, now would be the time.
I wish to make an opening statement.
Why am I not surprised? Very
It is
well,
my
Commander
belief.
of the Navis.
Second officer, actually. But our opening statement is that we believe that this trial is a sham.
Oh, really?
And that we can prove that the operational condition of this ship is putting the lives of all crew in severe jeopardy.
I couldn't
And
agree
that
more.
Medically, command structure has broken down to such an extent that the commanding officer is no longer fit for duty and should be relieved of duty effective immediately.
Indeed. It's interesting that these interlopers should show up now when we're so close to naming the alien. Indeed, after we got rid of the Romulans, these interlopers turn up on a ship whose name I do not recognize, wearing uniforms I have never seen before. It's a shame that you didn't go to more effort to hide your complicity with the alien. Indeed, these folks are more than likely Romulan agents trying to get their little weapon back. Or perhaps they are more of the alien lifeform that we believe had to have infiltrated. Of course, they don't know the level to which our technology has traveled, so they've had to make best guesses. And so they have managed to produce these ill-fitting facsimiles. Really, I expected more. Crew of the
As a
Atlantis,
rebuttal-
if you will give me a moment, please. Crew of the Atlantis, I call my first witness Lieutenant Verga. At which point somebody comes in. Lieutenant Verga narrowly escaped death recently. He was in the sensor monitoring station on G-Deck when the chief engineer shut off life support and sealed the entire deck. He made it through an access ladder before the emergency bulkhead shut behind him. In his dreams, he can still see his shipmates, gasping for air. He can still hear their cries for help as they suffocate. Chief Engineer Phillips, do you have anything to say on your behalf? At which point, Phillips does indeed shout. Don't pretend like you don't know the invader was on G-Deck that day. I did what I had to do to protect everyone. I lost 2 of my own crew that day. And everything quickly breaks out into shouts and jeers. Everything is getting very loud at this point. And Mallory looks over at Takahashi. And then she frowns as she realizes that Takahashi looks very browbeaten. But at the moment, she's managing to keep control of the crowd, and she seems to be swaying them in her...
As a rebuttal to the commander's statement, I would like to present our witness, Chief Science Officer Shiro Takahashi, and I would also like to present his alien identification device as evidence.
Okay. A hush goes over the crowd at this point. And you present Takahashi. You explain what you've found. You show the device. Mallory just dismisses the device and says they could have tampered it before now.
I would like to call secondary witnesses to confirm Takahashi's statements and call forward the science officers that heard the confession.
Okay, yep, cooperative. Good couple of murmurs are now going about.
As understood from both the command structure, the command faction and the engineering faction, science has been neutral. Why would they rat out one of their own? Chief Science Officer Takahashi, will you explain why this device was made?
He tries to answer, but then Mallory shoots him a glare and he shuts up immediately and just looks down.
Very well. I will then say what confession was stated to him, and the secondary witnesses, I'm sure, will have more confidence and acceptance of their condition. Chief Science Officer Takahashi was ordered to manufacture a fault-positive alien detection device. If I point it at any person in this room, they will test as an alien.
At which point the engineering crew do erupt in very loud shouting, and they start making moves towards the front of the conference room, which prompts Mallory's own security staff to start filing in and surrounding their commander.
This situation is getting to a boiling point. If we continue to allow it to escalate, the entire crew risk killing themselves. I urge you all to stand down.
Okay. So I'm going to ask for... Let me see. This can definitely be an aided task, and with everything that you've added, I'm going to put in an advantage for you. So you will get to make a, let's see, a presence plus command check. Others can make an aided one.
Can I use my Starfleet protocol as a focus?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Anybody who wants to aid in this can feel free to, if they wish to. 2 successes. Nice. And this is going to be opposed by Mallory's presence plus command. I'm going to spend a threat to add an extra dice. And she has got the focus of persuasion. I got 2 successes, which means it's a draw. Ooh. All right. Okay. All right, then. You have definitely managed to sway a good many. I mean, the engineering group didn't need much encouragement to go against Mallory. Members of the command crew, not necessarily the security side of the command staff, but the regular command staff that are on Mallory's side, they look convinced, and it's like you've brought forward their concerns and just voiced them. So, but Mallory then lets out her own diatribe, and she is very charismatic, very convincing. She's very set in her beliefs, which becomes very convincing. So you've created this kind of stalemate situation where there's definitely seesawing No one's sure what to happen, not what's going to happen next, and it's at that point that something happens. So, hold on a momento, if I can just find what I need to. Right. Okay. The ship suddenly judders. The ship suddenly shakes a bit, and then an alarm goes off. At which point, all the command crew kind of stop arguing and listen out. And the computer voice declares that the self-destruct has been activated. At which point, over the comm system, you hear Mendela's voice. Where are his lines? I'm sorry, but this is the only way. I never meant for any of this to happen. You must believe me. I never wanted to hurt anyone. But you humans, all you do is hurt each other, and that which you do not understand. But even though you've hunted me like an animal, I harbor no hatred for your kind. I'm a scientist, a peaceful explorer, and if I could save your lives, I would. Please take comfort in the knowledge that your sacrifice will save millions of lives on countless worlds. And yes, that pretty much breaks everyone, and everyone flits into a panic. But Mallory cries out, "He's in the command center!"
Yeah, how quickly do I think I can get there?
Ooh, the command center. You're down a few decks. The command center is going to be... Ooh, actually, you're halfway. The command center is halfway between where... No, wait.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. Natala's on D deck.
Natala's
Natala is on the same deck as the
Yeah,
command
it's
center.
just literally around the corner, isn't it?
Yeah, so hang on. I'm getting confused because I thought you were... I was pitching it as if you were in the docking area again. You're not. You are in the life support, which is on D deck, which means you are on the same deck as... Yep, so you can get there pretty lickety-split quick. So,
Okay.
let me get Natala.
Yeah, I would say to Natala, be careful. Be cautious of the situation. We're en route, and then I would then state to Mallory is that this is your ship, your crew, but let us assist in protecting them.
Mallory listens, but then just yells out, "We know where the alien is! Let's go!" At which point her security staff start filing out, but
Right.
Parrish then jumps in and starts waving at people going, "No, no, no, wait!" But Mallory gets through the door, and she gets handed a phase pistol.
I want to try and trip her, but make it look like I was trying to step forward to get
Okay.
into the room to...
Can I get you to give me... Ooh, what's
so
it going to be?
be,
I'm
like,
going to
quite
go...
apologetic afterwards and...
Daring
sorry,
plus
I'm
security,
panicking.
please.
Right?
Daring plus security.
Oh, he's
I'm
bad
going
at
to make it
security.
difficulty
This is-
2 because you're trying to mask it.
Spend the momentum. Oh, sorry, Thomas. Sorry. Don't check.
Did you nearly drop the baby?
No, he sat on my lap and he kind of
Whoa.
he jumped a bit.
Do you want to spend momentum to re-roll that tech?
What do we think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
May as
Even
well.
if we just
All right.
delay.
We're at max momentum.
So, re-roll results, if you
Yeah.
please.
Right.
Come on, one. Come on, one. One.
Technically, he got one.
Yeah, he got one.
Yeah.
Good enough.
You needed 2, so
Yeah.
what happens is, unless you want to spend another momentum to re-roll again... Nope,
We
okay.
could spend 2 momentum and get a one dice.
I, was
And
quite, I may need some of this momentum in a moment.
yes,
Yeah. I think we'll just take the consequences. Bravo's.
So
Yeah.
you do
Gritted.
attempt to trip her, and you kind of do make her stumble, but this makes the security guys see you do it, and they level their pistols at you,
So,
which
I'm gonna
holds
look
up
at Martin.
everybody else because now the security are blocking the door.
Well,
I'm going to look at Martin as it says, Doctor, I believe at this point she's actively putting the ship in danger with her recklessness.
I agree. You try stopping her, as she's basically marching off with guys with
The
weapons.
only one with the authority, as
Doctor.
the chief medical officer, as we discussed.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I would suggest is that because Natala's on her own, is that we, as soon as our earliest opportunity, we get a chance to pursue after. We send the Doctor to make a full ship broadcast to state that Commander Mallory is no longer fit for command, and hereby, as Chief Medical Officer, he is relieving her of active duty.
I'll do it
So,
now, he says.
If I could just say out of character for a moment. So thanks to Bravo's intervention, the only person who's on their way to help is Mallory on her own.
No, her goons are as well.
Well, like guns and level pistols at me, so it is literally her on her own, isn't it?
Her goons are pointing weapons at Bravo rather than coming on to help.
It kind of worked. It's 1-on-1 now.
Right, so
Natala's
let me...
Natala's got a pistol. It's only at 7 threat. We burned one off.
Hey, if you can get the alien on side, it's all good, right?
Yeah, get the alien on side. We're all good.
Right,
You've got a medical person with you. You've got 2-on-1 there.
Yeah. You could just release the Neurazine across the entire ship as well, and just, or you could just gas G deck or D deck, whichever one it is.
I've already
So-
left that room, so you have to convince the medical personnel to do that.
Yeah, do it. Do it now.
That's the conference room. We want the command center. Let's see. Natala's going to be closer, so Natala can come from that direction. And we'll get a head start before Mallory's lot arrive, but they are going at a run. Natala will probably be going at a run as well. So, Natala, if you go to the northern end of that map, you'll find yourself.
As I said, I am just operating through with you operating Natala and Webby showing me. So
Okay, so Natala comes in via the north. You come across one of the engineering security crewmen. He seems to be a bit. He's looking down the corridor towards the south. He's like not sure what to do. He's obviously trying to stay at his post, but he's keen to try and see what's going on because there is a commotion going on down the corridor. So you proceed.
crewman, if you could please come with me. There's going to be an awful lot of very angry people coming, and we need to calm the situation if possible. Nice big smiling faces.
Okay. You put it so well. He's far too eager to join in. It's Natala's natural lead hen of the roost kind of charisma going on here.
I am the voice of the crew with one of my.
Yes, indeed. So Natala comes across the door to the command center that you were shown to, but you've got the two crew members who you remember being in there with Mendola, are now outside, and one of them's banging on the door trying to get in. When he sees you get there, he's like, he asked us to just get out for a moment, and then he locked the door. I don't know what's going on. He's sealed himself in there. So, you've got...
Oh, I've just realised we bought pattern enhancers with us. If we could jury rig the transporter, we could get there quicker.
Unfortunately, the pattern enhancers were and not that one. And yeah, I'm not the one carrying them.
Satellite beaming from the Navis. Come on, Nova, you could do it.
I was going to suggest we could beam him out of there and into a prison cell, to be fair.
Well, Natala, you've managed to make it there. You're not sure how long you've got but before Mallory and her team gets there, so...
Gentlemen, I believe that your ensign is, as you may suspect, given his transmission, is your alien, but is a. But I believe I'm willing to take them at their word, and I would like to try and diffuse this situation, alien to alien.
At this point, these guys are like, you know, they obviously have no clue what to do. They're totally exasperated. So the fact that Natala is actively taking charge at this point is great, because that means they don't have to do anything unless told to. So Natala, you met with a locked door.
Yeah, I think I understand locked doors. Boys, if you could just take this panel from where I'm pointing here to where I'm pointing here, up of this wall, I can get this door open.
Yeah. So if you give me a reason and engineering task, this will be difficulty 3. To see if you can identify the correct circuits that you could then cut. So this is going to be...
If this were the Navis, I would have a advantage on this, for I know my ship.
Sadly, this ain't
surely
your
this
ship.
Can't be more complicated. This ain't my ship, but on the other hand, surely it ain't that complicated, given that it's a precursor of several generations.
Quite, and it's funny you should mention that. Serving Starfleet is a founding tradition. Sorry, was that you, Jan, trying to come up with something? Nope. Okay. I thought I heard feedback on the line there, which is usually not feedback, but the hiss of someone trying to actually speak, but not coming through. So I'm gonna give.
We should all hiss from now on. That's the only thing we should speak in the collection of hisses.
Do you want to spend momentum to add an extra dice to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will be rolling 3 dice. This is not got to do with any of your foci, so we're just going to go with what we got. That was not a bad roll at all. 3 successes, exactly what you needed.
Whoop whoop whoop. Natala's like, please, it's just a door.
Right, so now you need to cut the circuits. Now I'm going to allow that one of the engineers is going to assist. This is going to be daring or reason plus engineering. So let's see what these guys have got. Their daring is higher than their reason, which makes a certain amount of sense, because these guys are like the early Starfleet explorers, so they used to kind of see to their
nuclear
pants.
submarine engineers that jury rig live cabinets, you know.
Yeah. So we've already got 1 whole success from that. So Natala needs to make a reason plus engineering test again. This one is difficulty 4, but it's gone down by 1 because the extra success from the crewman. That still means 3 successes you have to make up.
Still need another momentum from the pool if I can.
Yeah.
Steal it.
Okay. Those are good rolls. That's another 3. Yep, so success.
Natala's on fire. We should leave her on her own more often.
Okay, so you managed to cut the correct circuits, which safely opens the door. So, yeah, well done, Natala.
Has the commander's, the chief medical officer's command come through yet?
Yes, the command has now been broadcast, which, obviously to the guys with Natala at the moment, this is like, what the hell? But, yeah, Dr. Martinez announces that it is he is using his authority as chief medical officer to declare that Commander Mallory is not fit for duty. That's a funny coincidence, because around about that point is when Mallory and her goons are now coming down the corridor. And they are coming down the corridor with weapons drawn.
Stepping in and shutting the door behind me. You know?
Okay. Kashunk. So, Let me see. The threat level has just gone up again now because Mallory's intent. However, since she has now been successfully declared unfit for duty, the members of the engineering crew are now telling her to. You can hear them shouting at her to basically put down a weapon. So at the very least, if she opens fire first, she's in a bit of a situation. So you've now got time, which also gives the rest of you time to get to the command center. You might need to take a bit of a roundabout route, but you can get there if you wish, or are you going to stay with that lot there?
Which lot where?
The guys in the conference room.
Oh no, I think we've got to head down to this.
Yeah, we'll definitely head down.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Andrew's statement will be is that until the situation is resolved, is the Doctor has
operational
authority.
Command,
yeah, operational command, and that it's his decision on the next course of the action of the ship.
And he will be backed up by Lieutenant Ed Parrish on this, which is enough to get everybody in the conference room not singing from the same hymn sheet, but not making matters worse. So I will bring... You guys come about via different routes, so I'll put you guys in the command area around about here on the left-hand corridor. You manage to make it there when you hear a lot of shouting going on. You can hear Mallory's voice. She's ordering the engineering security crew to stand down, but they're also yelling, "You've been declared unfit for duty. You stand down." So you get there's a very volatile situation going on here around the corner.
Yeah. Around the corner where?
So yep, feel free to move.
There it gets us. I got vision. I assume that tensions are elevated,
really
to say
high.
the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mallory is intent on driving forward, but you can see the hesitation. She doesn't want to open fire on her own crew, which would lessen her
command.
Yeah, it's more like she
authority.
would be playing into what they've stated if she does it.
Right. So I'm going to deliberately stand in between both groups to try and calm the situation and give them both a single target.
Okay.
To then
and she
kind of
definitely
try and
levels
take
her pistol at you as you round the corner.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fully expecting that.
You! Is this what you wanted? It is, isn't it?
Not at all.
Don't give me that. Ever since you got on board this ship, you seem to have been doing nothing but causing chaos. Turning the crew against me.
Turning the crew against someone that wanted to actively perform vivisections. But that is not the reason of this. This situation has to stop if you have sense and reason as a commanding officer, which you do seem to by not opening fire on your crew. This situation can be resolved. If you push through with an aggressive act, this ship will be destroyed and all hands will be lost.
Right, I really want you now to make a presence plus command check, please.
Anything of my foci to kick in?
I am going to... You mentioned thinking of the crew, so I'm going to allow the Starfleet Protocols thing to come in here. But I will allow you, this is a good point for you to use Preservation of Life, your value, So you can use
Yes.
a point of determination to buy a dice with a 1.
Yep, I'll spend preservation of life. So perform tasks, use focus, and it's 3 die, isn't it?
No, actually, when you
Use
perform
determin- yeah,
task,
use
you
determin-
check it saying using determination.
Yeah.
Unless
Okay,
you
yeah,
want
no.
to spend momentum to buy an extra dice as well.
Thoughts from the rest of the group? Do we want to overkill this?
I think you're good enough. It's by the sounds of it, you've got literally everything you can tick except momentum. So it's like, I don't
Right,
think we need overkill.
If it goes wrong, we'll spend to re-roll a momentum.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see if. Ooh, 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 ooh. You do it. She lowers her phaser pistol. She seems she cannot. She does. She wants to counter. You can see she wants to counter it, but she can't. And she just kind of deflates. And surprisingly, her own security crew are the ones that then back away from her, and one of them takes her phaser pistol.
Let us deal with this situation.
Just save my crew. Okay, you're free to act now. Meanwhile, Natala,
Yes.
you are in a room with, quote, Mendela. I have to do it. I can't find any other way of doing this. It's my fault and I'm sorry. But I have to detonate the warp drive. Sorry, say that again, John. I talked over you.
Allow me to offer an alternate perspective.
Do you
As
have...
an explorer, as you've stated, have you come to any conclusions about myself and my crew?
You're obviously not from the same time period as these ones. But that's hardly a surprise, the amount of tetraionic radiation being sent out by my mistake. It's obviously sent rifts in space-time. I didn't mean for this to happen.
And based on that, my crewman, my commander, is a prime example of the future that people such as this ship's crew have given time to develop.
I see. So they do become better. Can I get you to give... No, of course I can't get you because you can't actually do it. Right, I am going to make you...
Say no, John. Refuse.
Stand your ground.
Let's see. He's obviously shaky. I'm going to make Natala do an insight and command check.
The Tarman family have been serving in Starfleet for generations.
Yeah.
Does that add anything potentially to this? In that her family has been standing alongside these people probably since this time period.
That's a good point. I'll allow it. You can use a point of determination.
Good.
Determination. Do you want to spend momentum to buy an extra dice, or are you alright with just determination?
I think we need the momentum on this as well. What do you think?
I'd be willing
Yeah,
to
to be
spend it.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's. We want to talk him down from blowing the ship up.
4 successes. Well done. Natala successfully manages to reason with Mendela. She uses what John said, saying, you know, they may look bad now, but they do get better. And this is, you know, a very stressful situation for them.
They become civilized monkeys.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're from the future.
Yeah.
I'm a scientist. Maybe we can find another way to do this. and you say you have another ship. So Mendula contemplates this, seems to take everything Natala says on board, and then presses a button and deactivates the self-destruct. And he just nods. Okay. Okay.
So my intention, while beaming over here, was to get all of these people to safety and then blow this ship.
I see. And you can do that?
If you see there is a carrier wave, and I start explaining the way we stabilized the passageway between the Navis and...
I managed to get external sensors online, finally, so let me have a quick look. He types some commands into the console and indeed brings up evidence of the carrier wave that you initiated. And he kind of steps back and goes, brilliant. That would be able to stabilize any transporter beams going out. Incredible. There is, of course, only one thing. Someone, well, this isn't my universe. I come from a different quantum universe than yours. This whole debacle is my fault. I was trying to create a new gravity drive which malfunctioned. And the malfunction was such that it tore a rift in between the universes. This wormhole is a direct result. I would like to think I'd be able to get back to my home, but I'm not sure I'll be able to. And I don't think these people are ready for me and my kind. So, I will allow the rest of your group to be able to come into the room at this point and catch that part of the conversation, so that you can offer your own inputs. Yes, so everybody else walks in to find that Natala has definitely talked down the other guy, and Natala probably realizes that you guys have managed to talk down Mallory. So, let me see. I am going to want two... This is going to be like a teamwork check to see if you can come up with a means of trying to get this guy back home. Reason plus engineering or reason plus science. So, I imagine...
quantum mechanics process?
Sorry, what was that?
There's a quantum mechanics process, I believe, possible?
Yeah, sure. So, Natala can give reason plus science with quantum mechanics as a focus. Everyone else, like the, I would say the two engineers, could give reason plus engineering tasks. Liquid probably wouldn't have any foci he could add to this, but as for Bravo, warp field theory could help, so he can get a focus in. So if both of them could do reason plus engineering as an assist, only Bravo gets to add his focus. Natala does get to add quantum mechanics to her check.
That's so close to a 20.
Okay, cool. So, Jan, if you can give me... That's... Whoa, 2 successes already. So, we're going to throw in Natala's using focus. Does Natala want to buy an extra dice from Momentum Pool?
Yeah, I'd be happy to spend it.
Cool. 3 successes, which gets you 5, which is 1 over the difficulty you needed. So you get a point of
we get momentum back. Yay!
Awesome.
Cheer, we got momentum back.
Joining your heads together, you come up with the plan that you could probably set the Atlantis on autopilot, and the Navis could extend its shields to try and protect the hull integrity of the Atlantis long enough for the
Get away from the
for the alien's pod to escape, to reach its own craft at the center of the wormhole. That could potentially allow the alien, or Mendela, as he currently is, the opportunity to use his escape pod to then ride the shockwave back to his own universe. It'll take a bit of doing, but that's the plan that you can come up with. So, the last thing I'm going to need is for checks to see you ought to do that. So, somebody is going to need to do a control plus con task, difficulty of 0, to set the Atlantis on autopilot. So who wants to try that?
Where's Fazaran when you need him?
What
was that? Control con.
Yeah.
I'm not bad at control, but not good at con.
But it's difficulty 0, so...
10-2 for 12.
Yeah, could also
I'm
aid.
10-2. So, alright, okay.
So the could assist, definitely. So there's one success. So you've already got the success you want, or one over the success you wanted.
Hey, that means we're getting momentum back. Yeah.
It does. And another success from Likud means you get 2 momentum back. For that.
Yeah.
So you've
2
successfully set the Atlantis on autopilot. Now we need to briefly go back to Nova on board. So what we can do is if we go into the actors directory, the folder of the Navis crew and ship, and if Shaun brings up Nova's whatever, sorry, character sheet, that's what I was looking for. And Gareth, since you haven't had much to do, you could bring up the Navis's character sheet.
Okie dokie.
Nova is going to need control plus security to extend the shields, aided by the ship's structure plus engineering. This is difficulty 1.
Okay. The ship is assisting, I take it?
Yep.
security.
I do have a focus on shields. Can I use
Oh
that?
yeah, add the focus. Definitely add the focus.
The ship does not help.
The ship does.
can-
Oh my god.
Okay, do we want to spend momentum?
Spend the momentum. Shouldn't it be free die for Erienne?
No, not
No.
necessarily. She's not using
She's in the focus though.
she's not using one of her values. She's using her focus,
Oh yeah.
which just ups the dual success ratio.
Oh my god.
That's fine.
It's fine. We'll spend some more power on the Navis. Fine.
Okay.
This is why I don't let them
There's a complication. Midway through, Nova stops for lunch.
She gets
All right.
distracted by a bleeping light she's never seen before because somebody changed all the controls around.
By now, the ship has lost more power, but it's going to lose 1 more because of that, so it's that much closer to power failure. Okay, but overall, Nova does succeed at some strain and cost to the shields. What impact that'll have later on remains to be seen, but you've extended the shields. Okay. This is going to give everybody time to start beaming off, so you can start coordinating now with the Atlantis crew to get off of the ship. So I am going to open us back up to get the Navis's bridge. Where's the bridge? Where's the bridge? There's the bridge. Or did I just send it away? I may have sent it away. You don't need the bridge, it's fine. Navis bridge, there it is. So, yeah, let's activate the bridge. But let's bring over the extra guys that you had. The supporting character.
God, while we've been gone, that was the complication. They got rid of all the chairs.
So
They've
we've
all
got
been piled
one
up
vote. Oh,
because
there's
Erienne
good
got
there.
bored.
He's right there. So there's good. So you start beaming everybody over. You set the autopilot so that the Atlantis is keeping itself stable in that location in the wormhole. You use the particle beam that you set up to brace the to secure the transporter signal so it doesn't degrade. You
Yep,
start
pattern
beaming people
enhancers.
off with
We're
no
using the pattern enhancers as well.
using the pattern enhancers. Very good point. You did bring them along, so there you go.
Yep.
That aids. Yeah, exactly. It was that good.
Obviously, Forest have just scored.
So, yeah, everybody manages to get over the alien Mendela.
Takahashi strangely disappears in an unfortunate transporter accident.
So
Let's not mess around with transporter accidents in the middle of a gravitational anomaly.
Who knew?
Sorry.
You get everybody out, and the Atlantis' matter-antimatter reactor eventually explodes. The explosion engulfs the alien vessel, which in turn collapses the wormhole. As the wormhole starts to collapse, I am going to ask for Keval to give me a control plus con check, aided by the ships. This is gonna be... Ooh, it's going to be engines plus con, to see if you can break the ship free as the
Spend all the momentum you like, Jan.
I'll spend it all. Or maybe not. I'll spend at least one. I do have push the limits, which means if there's a increase in difficulty due to environmental conditions or damage, the difficulty is reduced by 1.
Okay, but I'm going to throw the difficulty back up by 1 because of the complication you suffered from extending the ship's shields.
Spending fret. Spending fret.
Alright.
So, Gareth, if you can have the ship make its
Engines con.
please. Alrighty, going well. 3 successes. You get it on the nose.
Fazanan's like, I've seen worse.
It turns out, spoiler, the ship is sentient and is actually rooting for those annoying biological things that it has to carry around to die so it can bugger off and do its own thing.
So with Keval's expert handling of the ship, at the moment the gravitational pull of the wormhole lessens as it starts to collapse, Lieutenant Fazanan throws the engines into essentially high gear and blows a couple of power conduits on the Navis, which causes a breach in the engines.
Sorry, Chief Engineer.
It's fine, he can deal with it.
You use a point of power to throw warp power into the impulse engines, but because EPS conduits also blow from the power overload, you are down to 2 points of power remaining on the ship, but it's just enough for the Navis to escape the gravitational pull of the wormhole as it shrinks down and collapses to nothing.
They called us mad when we insisted on a secondary reactor.
I know.
Just as the wormhole is about to collapse, you do, Lieutenant Natala manages to read a sensor echo as a communication seems to issue from the other side of the wormhole. And the universal translator has to run it in order to translate it because it's coming in an unfamiliar language, but eventually It's translated as home and thank you. So, the
Big cheer.
captain. So the captain obviously is very keen to have an update on what actually happened, and listens intently to the report of everybody involved. Naturally, the guilty parties of Lieutenant Takahashi and Commander Mallory are put in the brig. The everyone from the Atlantis who was still alive was able to be brought on board pretty quickly and efficiently. Most of them are being housed in temporary accommodation in the expansive shuttle bays of the Navis. And so, you are able to set a course back for home. And so, congratulations, guys. You've successfully managed to complete episode 2, A World with a Bluer Sun.
I was just going to say, Bertram will actually make sure to heal up the mess that Takahashi made, that Andrews made to Takahashi's face.
Right.
If Sophia actually does make any comments when Takahashi's in earshot, Bertram will actually specifically say, you know, I swore the the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. No, I can't imagine being someone who would break such an oath.
He fell down the stairs.
Hello, Alex.
Hello.
So, yeah, before we conclude this officially, as far as the recording is concerned, is there anything anybody would like to state as what their characters do when they get back on board?
I think that keeping the Atlantis crew in a very secure area with very limited knowledge of what's happened, doing the very slow introduction to Welcome to the 24th Century.
Okay.
What souvenir they bought?
Is anyone going to tell Mallory that the 24th Century Federation's cold case department is very efficient?
Yeah. Nova can have the alien device. Yeah. The alien detector.
What, the one that says everyone you pointed at is an alien?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Liquid would like to specify in his report that he does not think the chief engineer is totally blameless. Spacing whole sections of the ship in an attempt to capture an alien does not seem an appropriate action.
Okay, in which case, yeah, Chief Engineer Phillips is put in the brig.
Yeah. And then the rest of us go, shut up, Lacoud.
Yeah.
What was that, John?
Probably do a full write-up on these interdimensional wormholes and the people therein.
Okay.
And possibly going to get published again.
Well, hey.
Did we manage, out of interest, to get a reading of where he had, what kind of dimension he had travelled to?
The quantum resonance does not appear to be... The quantum signature of his ship did not appear to match anything in Federation databases.
Yeah, and then our best clues are actually the analysis of the communication. It was made in addition to the translation of home and thank you. We could possibly derive something of the culture from the language and so on. There are people who love that kind of thing.
I'm sure Federation Xenolinguistics will be very happy to receive the 3 little words that you got.
And because Bertram has his priorities in a very specific order, he'll make a request to take samples of the water and the energy detecting moss that displayed unusual properties that could provide value for study due to exposure to highly unusual radiation from the anomaly.
Okay, cool. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
Yes. Okay. Since Liquid has got sociology as a focus, he does a write-up about how people are accepting of cannibalism in alien cultures.
Okay.
Wait, what else were they doing with the bodies?
Yeah, you can go on. We witness firsthand what humans are like under stress when all sense of civility just breaks down. So yeah, fascinating little observation.
I know where his dummy's gone. Fell on the floor.
Okay, well, in regards to this recording, at least, I want to thank everybody who was watching or listening, and apologies for the stream not working, but hopefully we'll get that fixed by next time, where we start episode 3. Should be very cool, I hope.
This is slowly becoming a regular thing for me Tuesday nights. It's just have you guys on in the background while I do something.
Cool.
It's been quite fun.
Bye.
So, as far as this recording goes, I will see everybody later and wish you all happy gaming.